College was a blast. Man, I had a great time. As an undergrad at UCLA, hanging around Westwood with my friends. But I wasn't happy. Deep down inside, I wasn't feeling satisfied. Then I found my turning point. Sir, is this Ramadan Academy? Are you still accepting applicants? Can I still enroll? Today's the last day. What time do I have to be there to sign up? Right now, I'm on my way. Every time. Where am I going? Where have I been? The month of Ramadan is here again? I'm not focused. I'm not committed. You're so alone. All you see is night and darkness all around. You feel so helpless. You can't see which way to go. Don't despair and never lose hope. A season of change. I can't let another one pass me by. What's that Ramadan International Academy sign? I found my way. I'm on the way. I can't miss another day. I can't miss another night. You can't repent and that it's way too late. You're so confused. Wrong decisions you have made. Haunt your mind and your heart is full of shame. The school of Ramadan is the school of life. So don't let another one pass you by. 'Cause Allah is always by your side. Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah. I want to experience Ramadan. I want to live it. Inshallah, 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 you'll find your way. Assalamu alaikum, Professor.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wallahi, I'm sorry I'm late. I just found out about Ramadan Academy and I really want to join.
You came at the last minute. Go register your name and prepare for Ramadan Academy.
Really? All I have to do is register my name? I'm going to go do it right now, Professor. Turn to Allah. He's never far away. Put your trust in Him, raise your hands and pray. Ooh, ya Allah, guide my steps, don't let me go astray. You're the only one who can show me the way. Show me the way. Confirm. Show me the way. Show me the way. You feel like you cannot go on. You feel so lost and that you're so alone. All you see is night and darkness all around. You feel so helpless, you can't see which way to go. Don't despair and never lose hope. 'Cause Allah is always by your side. Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah. Fasting from what? That's the question. That's your assignment for this lecture. What are you fasting from? Simply eating and drinking food and water? Or is Ramadan more than that? List 5 things besides food and drink that you are fasting from, inshallah, this Ramadan. See the other side. Ain't no ticker tape parade waiting by the gate unless I Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said there's no point of those who fast who cannot stop lying and act upon the lying. There's no point of stopping the food and drink. So the Prophet ﷺ is showing you that Ramadan is really about your manners as well. So you need to be truthful. It's not about food and drink. I remember one time there was a brother during a soccer tournament after we broke our fast. He cursed. So we advised him, like, brother, taqillah, have some taqwa. Be where Allah is supposed to be seen and not where you're not supposed to be seen. So he said, I finished my fasting. Khalas, it's done. Now it's 8 p.m. So he has the misconception that it's only when you fast you can't do the lying part. Rather, it's every minute, every day, every hour, and every part of the year.
وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. There is a second quality. And those who suppress their anger, they control their temper. Yes, they have a short temper, but they control it. They're very angry, but they control their anger. They do not act upon their anger. They're capable to fist fight and beat somebody, but because of this ayah, because of this quality, they want to be amongst al-muttaqeen. They want to be eligible for Allah's forgiveness and His paradise, so they suppress their anger. They control their temper. They abstain from acting upon this anger and this bitterness. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ. This is the ground floor. You mean there is a higher level than just suppressing the anger? Oh yeah. وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. And those who pardon people. And there is even a higher level. The top level is وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And Allah loves the good doers.
I remember also one of my friends at work, he was about to curse on the edge, so he told his colleague who was non-Muslim, he told them, you know, it's only because I'm fasting, I'm not going to curse you. So that person was shocked. He was like, okay. Then he left. So I went to that colleague and I told them, you know what, my friend has a misconception. We're not supposed to curse any time of the year. It's not just this one, but we just stress more on that day so we don't diminish the reward of fasting and so on.
I'm tired of consuming this daily illusion. It's gonna drive me insane. But once in a while the veil gets lifted and I see the other side. Ain't no ticker tape parade waiting by the gate unless I work on the inside.
I was coming back from a store and I didn't give a person the money that they wanted. You know, I actually paid nisf junay, half of a junay, to a person, and they wanted more than that. After I didn't go far. The store wasn't far from my home. So, and I had bought fans at the time. I bought 2 fans because it was very hot in the house. So I bought those. This is the time when I was living in Akhir Metro. And the person took the money and he slammed it down on the fans. He slammed it down. And where I come from, and brothers, you gotta understand, like Americans, where I come from, you know, the key was immediately turned in my head. I wanted to hurt the person because I felt very disrespected. But then I had to say to myself, I literally changed gears and said, oh, no, I'm fasting. I can't do that. So I took out the money and I gave him what he wanted. I got out, took the fans, and I kept moving. Wallahi, he doesn't understand. Even that person doesn't know to this day that Ramadan saved him from Umar.
We're so caught up in our homes, our lives, our things. Magazine and television closing all the lists. There's a whole world out there, what to be done. Come on everybody, come on, come on. Come on everybody, come on. I'm tired of consuming this daily illusion. It's gonna drive me insane. But once in a while the veil gets
Al-Hassan, may Allah be pleased with him, used to have a servant, a female servant. In the past, slavery was common. So she was pouring water for his wudu from the water pot, which was made out of pottery. She accidentally dropped it. And it was broken. So Al-Hassan was very angry. So she tried to calm him down and she said, "Yes, Sayyidi, my master, remember Allah says what He has prepared for al-muttaqeen. He said, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ." And those who suppress their anger, he said, I suppress my anger. She said, وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. She read the ayah in order. He said, and I pardoned you. Yeah, he suppressed his anger, but inside of him, yeah, maybe some other time he will punish her for that. She said, وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. He said, go, I pardon you. She said, وَالْمُحْسِنِينَ وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. He said, go, you're free. Those who react with the ayat of the Quran, ponder on the hikam, the effective cause of the ibadat, they benefit most. They do not look at it as some sort of rituals. There are a lot of people who fast to lose weight. It's some, routine of diet to lose weight or to get better. No, this is not the case. Fasting is to be muttaqi, to gain the quality of taqwa, to improve your manners, to improve your relationship to Allah, to improve your relationship to people, to mankind, Muslims and non-Muslims.
When you dislike someone and that person is intimidating for you, and every time you meet with them, they cause you trouble, they make you uncomfortable, or they will affect you to do something bad, what would be your best strategy? Is to avoid that person. As long as the company is not benefiting you in any way, it's not benefiting, actually it is hurting you. So the best strategy, the easiest, is to avoid. But sometimes this avoidance is very hard when that person keeps coming to you. You try to avoid and you try to go as far as possible, but that person keeps coming to you, and that's your test. And that's exactly what the shaitan does. That's exactly what shaitan does. You are that person. You want to pray, you want to enjoy, you want to read Quran, you want to make tahajjud, and you want to avoid that bad person. But he keeps coming, and he keeps entering without permission, and he keeps overcoming all the shields and the walls that you are building for. So your only other thing is to depend on Allah Azza wa Jal. And remember what Allah said about the shaitan in the Quran. He's your enemy. So consider him as your enemy. Do all what you can to avoid that enemy, but know from within, from inside, that إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. It is always weak. This weakness can overcome only if we are weaker than the weak plots of shaitan. But as long as we are depending on Allah, this weakness will stay away. Inshallah Rabbil Alamin.
And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, As-sawmu junnah. Fasting is a shield. A shield to shield you from what? From sins, from anger, from losing your temper, from uttering an awful word. الصوم جنة فإذا كان يوم صوم أحدكم فلا يرفث ولا يفسق ولا يسخط. So if any of you is fasting, he should not be insultive, he should not use abusive language, he should not slander, he should not use any bad words, no vain talk. Okay, this is one thing. There is even a higher level, which is whenever somebody addresses him or her with foolishness, what do? They do not react the same. وَإِنْ سَابَّهُ أَحَدٌ أَوْ شَتَمَهُ. He does not react with the same, rather he says, إِنِّي صَائِمٌ. He says to himself, remember you're fasting, you cannot be like him.
Inshallah, you'll find your way. Ramadan is here.
We're only a few sunsets away from the month of change, an opportunity that is given to us only once a year. Take a look at this. Take a look at your future. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a very windy and dusty day here. We're about an hour out of Cairo in the middle of the desert. Al-Ikhlas, sincerity. Whether you are alone in the middle of the ocean, in a boat, or on a river, or in a busy city street, your only way to success in this life and the next is through sincerity.
Methanol, which is the fuel that is used for rockets, that is placed inside cigarettes, that we're putting into our bodies when we're breaking our fast. Subhanallah.
Together, Let's plant the seeds of change.
Seeds of change.
I remember the saying of Abu Hurairah, who says like during Ramadan, they used to protect their fast. They used to stay in the masjid and read the Quran and, practicing like, different worships like adhkar and stuff in order to protect their fast. And I remember the saying of, I think Abu Dhar as well, who said like, if you're fasting, you should take care about your eyes and what you listen to and the way you talk, and you should not harm your neighbor.
Many times I've experienced that, especially being in America, and I remember even a brother mentioned this, actually Brother Yusuf Chambers, he mentioned this to me when I was visiting him in the UK. He said to me that it's very easy for us to backbite here in the UK. And I understand what he means by that from being in America. Just the environment that you're in. The things that we're taught growing up. You're taught to lie through stories. You're taught to backbite and slander people through magazines that you see. And all of these different things. All of these different avenues that are in the media. So many times I will be around that. People backbiting, and sometimes you can almost get caught up into that yourself, and you have to check yourself, you have to watch yourself. Even backbiting outside of Ramadan. What about inside of Ramadan? You definitely don't want to do that, because it's something that damages your fast.
Never look at someone without it and think these people are not there. Perhaps they respect their parents and you don't. Perhaps they do not backbite and you do. Subhanallah. Perhaps they get up for tahajjud and you don't. So good deeds are plenty. They are not confined to what you alone are doing. Remember that. May Allah open our doors. May He grant us respect of one another. May He make us give up the backbiting, the slander, the gossip, and all other evil. Respect and honor of the Prophet ﷺ is only through following what he has said. He does not want anything else. He wants us to follow his example, to follow his way, to follow his commands, to make sure that whatever we do, we get it from his instruction, and cut out whatever will displease Allah, because we need to focus.
Fasting can teach us many things, and among them to refrain from useless talk. For the Prophet ﷺ said, "من لم يدع قول الزور والعمل به فليس لله حاجة في أن يضع طعامه وشرابه." That whoever does not leave off false speech, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in no need of that person leaving off their food and drink. In other words, if fasting does not instill this taqwa in our hearts, in our actions, then really what have we gained from this fasting? Because this is indeed the entire purpose of fasting, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So we may indeed gain taqwa and not to gain hunger and thirst.
والذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش وإذا ما غضبوا هم يغفرون.
They keep themselves away from the most major of the sins. Again, a side point here, there are minor sins and there are major sins. Your first priority, get away from major sins. And sometimes you're doing major sins and you're talking all the time about, oh, I shouldn't do those minor sins, right? But get away from the major sins. Priorities come first. Kaba'ir al-ithm. Then he says specifically, wal-fawahish, and all forms of shamelessness. Again, this is not a talk about shamelessness, this is about controlling anger. And I haven't said anything about controlling anger yet. How come? Allah says they stay away from major sins, they stay away from all forms of lewdness, vulgarity, shamelessness. Then he says, وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ, and whenever they get angry, I'm not even going to finish the sentence yet, but now he's bringing up anger. You see where he brought up anger? First he told you what is in this world is nothing compared to the next. Because if this world is everything you have, when things go wrong in this world, you get angry. But if this world is nothing compared to the next, whether you gain or lose, or something goes wrong, it's not that big of a deal for you. You can easily say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. No doubt we only belong to Allah and to Him we have to be returned anyway, and it's easy for you to calm down.
Al-Imam al-Awza'i rahimahullah, a great scholar of the past, said, Al-afiyatu ashratu ajza, that safeguarding oneself and well-being is comprised of 10 parts. Tis'atu minha fi samt. 9 of those parts is in fact being silent. وَجُزْءٌ فِي هَرْبٍ مِّنَ النَّاسِ. And one of those parts is found in escaping from the people, leaving off this vain talk, this backbiting, this gossiping and wasting of time. So we find that the Salaf, the pious predecessors, they were very much engaged in being silent as they were in speaking.
And they also used to be very docile, they used to be very quiet. In the month of Ramadan, they would speak less. They wouldn't speak of any futile, like Atta bin Abi Rabah said that they would not speak of anything besides adhkar. Or he said to one of his students, do you know what is futile talk? Do you know what is talk which does not have no meaning at all? He said, if it's not Quran, if it's not adhkar, if it's not that when you need something, if you need to go somewhere or you need to send somewhere, your things that you need in the worldly life. He said, if it's not from amongst those things, then whatever you are speaking besides that is futile. And he said that imagine on the day of Qiyamah, he said that imagine if today Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to take your life today and your book of deeds only has talk which is not beneficial. He says you haven't benefited in this world, you haven't benefited in the year after.
But what about the fasting of the tongue, so to speak? How important is it to stay away from the gossiping and the backbiting? And doesn't fasting help us in this? Because somehow you don't have the will or perhaps you see why it's wrong. Would you agree with me that in Ramadan we're also fasting from not gossiping, not backbiting?
Yes.
And fasting has this effect on us, doesn't it?
Definitely. I think Aisha said that your fast is not valid if you backbite or if you lie or if you make any sin. I mean, people, they don't really understand the essence of the fasting. And there is no benefit if your fasting does not prevent you from those sins. Because you are able to, this is basically the meaning of fasting. If you are able to, not eat or not do what is usually allowed. So you should be able to not do what is in any case unallowed.
You feel so lost and that you're so alone. All you see is night and darkness all around. You feel so helpless, you can't see which way to go. Don't despair and never lose hope, 'cause Allah is always by your side. Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah.